Capcom.
Hello everyone, my name is CD and welcome to our next playthrough, or should I say our next replaythrough. We are going to be playing Rockman, or should I say Mega Man, released in 1987 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is the stage select screen, which looks more like a character select screen, but we're actually going to one of these stages to fight one of these robots. We have Cutman, Gusman, Iceman, Bombman, Fireman, and Elec Man. Whereas most games usually start you at level 1, this game doesn't have a level 1. You choose which level you want to go to first. And it's up to you, the player, to decide which level is best to choose. Usually I like to go for Cutman, but for the sake of this playthrough, I'm going to go with Gusman, and I'll explain why later on. So this is our character, Rockman. His name was originally Rock. He was created by Dr. Light as an assistant originally, but since Dr. Wily captured and reprogrammed the industrial robots, Rock volunteers to be the one to stop this injustice, and volunteers to be converted into a fighter robot. That is essentially the dumbed down summary of the story of Rockman. But for now, let's talk about Gusman. Serial number DLN004. He is a civil engineer robot. He is so powerful that he can lift and carry a rock of 2 tons. You can look at his stage and tell that it's a construction site. Earlier in the stage, there were some platforms moving on a conveyor, where if you were to fall, you would actually fall really hard, which is a strange glitch that this game has that I'll talk about a little more in depth later on. This guy is called Pickle Man, or Picket Man. At this point, we're about halfway through the stage. These guys are called Bunby Hailbees, which are blader enemies that will constantly swoop down and attack you just like that. There's an extra life right there that I don't fully understand how to get. Then this guy is called Big Eye, one of the absolute biggest, literally, menaces in the game. It is so strong that it does 10 damage, which is essentially more than a third of Mega Man's energy, and it takes 20 hit points to destroy it. The best thing to do would be to dodge it, but sometimes the RNG will really screw you over. It'll either do a high jump or it'll do a long jump. And they always appear at the end of certain levels, in this case Gusman. These are called Metals, or Mets for short. Since I got hit by that Big Eye, I'm trying to do a little bit of grinding to see if I can get some energy. As you can see, I didn't get very much, so I'm just gonna have to thug it out. Anyway, here's the boss room, and this is Gusman. First thing to note is at the start of every fight, all the time, Gusman will jump straight up, and a rock will fall, and he will throw it at you. If he moves and jumps, he'll just shake the ground, but if he jumps straight up, a rock will fall every single time. Whenever he jumps, get ready to jump just before he hits the ground. If you even jump ever so slightly early, you will get stun locked. It's actually worse if you jump too early because you'll catch the tail end of the quake. And even worse if you get hit by a rock. But other than that, he's a pretty easy boss. Rhythmic, yet easy. After defeating a boss, you get that boss's weapon. Gusman's weapon in question is called the Super Arm. We're gonna circle back to the weapons pretty soon, but for now we're gonna move on to the next level. We are going to go fight Cutman. Cutman is a robot who was originally created for tree trimming work. The cutter on his head is extremely sharp. Okay, back to the weapons. Mega Man comes equipped with an arm cannon. Aside from shooting pellets, Mega Man's arm cannon has the ability to take other robots' weapons and use them as his own. In the case of Gusman's weapon, the Super Arm, he has the ability to pick up huge blocks and throw them at enemies. And there are plenty of blocks in this level, along with plenty of Bunby Hellies, or at least at the start of that level. I remember the first time I played this game, I got absolutely ambushed by those guys. They were going crazy. But after repeated playthroughs, they're really not super bad. These wall-mounted guns are called... Oh, well, that's an original name. They're called blasters. These guys shoot in varying diagonal directions. It can only be destroyed when its armored shell is open. But you obviously want to be careful not to get shot while trying to shoot it. One thing I want to mention about the level design is that Mega Man is well known for its ladder climbing sections, so we're going to be seeing a lot of that throughout the game, especially here. And not really just ladder climbing sections, but just vertical sections in general. Because a lot of the vertical areas in Mega Man is where it usually kind of slows down a bit. Especially when Mega Man is climbing up ladders, because Mega Man climbs pretty slow in this game. We just passed by two enemies, the Super Cutters, and the Kamadomas, which are flea-like enemies. These guys are called Adhering Suzy, or Octopus Battery. They usually show up in small groups, like this. They travel back and forth along a set path, whether it's in an X-axis or a Y-axis. Here I tried to use the super arm and it actually did some pretty good damage, even though it didn't take out every single one of them. But sometimes most of them can be taken out, or sometimes you don't really have to take them out at all. They don't take a lot of damage, they only take about 5 shots. You know, now that I'm looking at this place, for a guy like Cudman, you would think that he would be in more of a tree-like area or some kind of jungle, or a place that's dedicated to cutting down trees or forestation or anything with wood. But with this level, it doesn't seem like that at all. These are the super cutters that I mentioned earlier. That's a large energy pickup right there, in case you need it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it since I've taken a little bit of damage. From this point on, we're getting close to the end of the level. I'm about to do a trick in the most uncool way possible. These guys are called Mambu, flying shells. They shoot simultaneously in 8 directions. Here goes another big guy. And that's how you do it. Also, before I forget, Cudman's serial number is DLN003. I forgot to mention that earlier when I was talking about Cudman a little bit. These guys are called screwdrivers, or screw bombers. These are turret enemies that shoot in 5 simultaneous directions. Twice, actually. Here we are in the boss room, and here is Cudman. Out of all the bosses in the game, Cudman actually takes the most damage from Mega Man's arm cannon shot. He's also one of the 2 robots that suffer from knockback from getting shot, or taking damage. He's weak to the super arm, which means that I could pick up one of these rocks and throw it at him and it does half damage. And by half damage, I mean take literally half his health. But considering how frantic Cudman can be, it was kind of hard for me to get to the rock so I can use it. Because once you get close enough to him, or he gets close enough to you, he just starts jumping around like a monkey. And he does that more than when he uses his rolling cutter, which is the scissors on top of his head, his weapon. But other than that, Cudman is a pretty good contender for a good place to start in the game. If you want to choose somebody that takes a lot of damage from Mega Man's arm cannon. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. I will see you in part 2. God bless.